Well, the leaks get so much bigger, and I didn't realize how much information was going to be left behind in this update about Update 3 for Sonic Frontiers. So guys, there's a whole lot to talk about, and I'm going to preface this right now. This is going to be huge spoilers for some of the content Update 3. This is stuff that was left in the game after this recent update. So this isn't something that got leaked from Sega's server or something. This is in your game files now, and people just have found this stuff. So we're definitely going to talk about this. I'm going to preface this again, huge spoilers, and I wouldn't recommend straight up posting them without spoiler warnings. Now with that said, before we get into this video, hey, hold up a minute. 75% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so why don't you consider subscribing if you've been enjoying the content. You may be like, hey, this might be too early in the video, but 43,000 of you guys keep coming back to these videos, so I'm talking to you. Why don't you hit the subscribe button? Thanks guys. So where do I even begin? So like I said, Update 3 was left over in some of the files for Update 2, and so let's just start with some basic stuff. So a lot of you guys know about Ouranos Island getting some changes done to it. So let's start out with that. So it appears in Ouranos Island there are going to now be 4 towers for Sonic to complete before getting access to the new final boss fight. And there is apparently a new hypersonic or some kind of new supersonic form, or aka cyber form. And that will also be a part of the new boss fight. But each of these towers will contain waves of enemies. Each wave keeps getting harder and harder until it leads to a Titan boss fight. Also, while you're fighting these enemies, apparently the tiles on the floor will continue to fall. And the parry was also supposedly nerfed, and it was a bit more difficult to time, and you cannot hold it forever. Now once again, a lot of these leaks are within the game files, and I will not be saying who sent these to me, but they were sent to me by people, and these people have access to the game files and said it was okay to make a video about this, as long as there's a spoiler warning. And I will be putting up the screenshots, obviously, as you guys have been seeing. But yes, it seems that Ouranos Island is getting a major makeover, and they're apparently adding new, or not new, but previous enemies on the island, such as Ashura, I believe, is going to be on the island now, and the Sumo. They're basically, I think, putting almost every enemy type on Ouranos Island, along with these 4 towers that you have to go through, almost like a Bloody Palace style from DMC, or Rhythm Tower from Hi-Fi Rush, where you have to go through a series of fights till you get to the end and fight a boss. And it seems like you have to do all 4 of these now to get to the new Supreme fight. Speaking of the Supreme fight, I'm assuming that's what this screenshot right here is of the new Supreme with a giant red glow around them for some reason. It's really interesting. So there's also an explanation for some new modes in the game, which I don't fully understand what this means. I'm missing some context on this. But it says basically Cyber Mode is really, like I said, gives different attributes to stages. So Max Speed Challenge forces you to a specific speed, and the default speed is 18. So goodbye boost and goodbye speed with this. Sonic becomes a walking sim in the state that's in. And then for Animal Collection Mode, which is not listed in the comment, Low Gravity and Max Speed Mode, it's all in the character parameters, so those are the same across all stages. Got those working back on day 1. Was hoping this stuff wouldn't leak out more, but Cyber Mode is a bit hard to keep under wraps given they document it outright. Low Gravity, Max Speed Challenge, and Nitro all currently work. Low Gravity is exactly what it sounds like. Nitro and Max Speed both stop you from boosting, but Max Speed allows you to replenish your boost meter by moving fast enough once it's filled. You get unlimited boost, but if you stop moving, it resets. Now, like I said, I don't have a lot of context of what this means or what this could be. I'm assuming it's for cyberspace challenge modes, possibly, that make things harder. That's honestly really the only guess I have about what all that means. But anyways, when it comes to the tower challenges, I really like the aesthetic they have going here, where it's like a red digital cyberspace arena. Kind of reminds me of something similar from Kingdom Hearts, having a data battle arena. Something I kind of wish Frontiers had was more unique bosses. By that, I don't mean like world bosses, but like even more unique bosses that kind of up the challenge even further outside of being slightly harder than your normal enemy. Something akin to the Titan battles, but more so on a smaller humanoid scale that you can combo and juggle. I guess I'm basically asking for a Kingdom Hearts boss fight. But yes, as you can see here in these screenshots, there are pictures of the towers being shown, which I believe is Ouranos Island here. They look somewhat similar to the towers in Rhea Island, but not exactly the same. And something else interesting that I noticed was that on the top of Supreme's head, he has a new Chaos Emerald shrine holder thingy. And it's also present in the screenshot where he's glowing red. So pretty interesting. I don't know what that means, but yeah. And when it comes to story spoilers, guys, I won't really talk about anything else, I guess, except the cyber form. I don't want to spoil anything about cutscenes or anything like that. And I don't really know anything about them because I don't really want to know anything about them. And I can imagine that a decent amount of this stuff is going to get shown off in a trailer before the actual release of this update anyways. Maybe outside of the cyber form, who knows? They may even show that in a trailer as well. But it's just more so feels like getting to know this stuff a little bit early than the initial release. And obviously the initial release and actual trailer will be more finished and a more polished version of everything that we have seen. But yeah, I'm not going to drag this on for a 10-minute video. I just want to get this out there and talk about it and share my thoughts on it. So overall, I certainly believe this is going to be the best update this game has ever seen, with the multiple playable characters all having their own move sets, tower challenges, revamped final boss, changing up Ouranos Island to have more things and harder puzzles and challenges, finally a new super form maybe, different modes, which I don't really understand the context of what they do, possibly for cyberspace levels, a fixed parry. It seems like this update is giving me almost everything that I want Frontiers to be. Now, there's some things with combat that are kind of not fixable because they have to do a little bit more and change some of the structure of the game, so I'm not really expecting that to change. I'll see that change in a sequel, because Frontiers is fun enough even though it's not that hard. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with these leaks, and I hope to see more with the official release. So shout out to Kishimoto and Sega for listening to everybody and taking in feedback, because this is the results of feedback, and it turns out it seems to be pretty good. So I don't know, I'd say I'm pretty happy with this, and I'm ready to see more, like I said. But the main thing I want to know is if they actually did anything outside of the parry to make it more difficult, because at the end of the day, you can just infinitely create rings. So if you go through this challenge tower mode thing, is it really going to be that hard? Yeah, the tiles may fall off, and even if with the deacceleration thing now in the game and having some momentum on, it may be harder to maintain staying on these tiles, but it all depends on how fast they fall off and how much challenge this brings. Now I can imagine on extreme mode it'd be pretty difficult as you die in one hit, so I don't know, I think it'll be overall pretty interesting to see how they tackle this whole challenge thing. But those are my thoughts on this leak. Again, I gave a spoiler warning, and I don't think anybody should spread this without a warning of spoilers. Don't post it in other people's faces. It's probably going to happen regardless as more and more people are finding this stuff, but I advise not doing that. And obviously I won't spoil through the thumbnail or anything like that. So if you guys are interested to find out more, just keep up and make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. And like always, I'll see you in the next one.
Well, whatever happens, happens.